Cheer. Hey yo, y'all hear that? So you mean to tell me y'all don't hear that? Well, riddle me this then. Listen up, I got a story to tell. Mr. If you know type shit. Back with another banger once again, going hard with no excuses, no white flags, no peace talk, no truces. So with that being said, y'all relax. Lay back in the Maybach. Put your mental on cruise control, and as always, watch me unload this fire, 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 fire. You on the dig? So let's get right into the story. But hold up. If you watching this video and you rock with your man 50 grand, I need you to hit them like buttons. Leave me a comment, share the video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So now let's get into the story. So one of my subs requested a predatorial video. And keeping it real with y'all, you know, my whole bid, I've been in predator dorms. Predator dorms not for everybody, you know what I mean? You got to earn your right respectfully to get here, but it's not hard. So let me tell y'all what the lick read, man, let y'all know what took place in this dorm. So when I get to the camp, right, I just knew, I said, you know what? If I want to survive down here, I'm going to have to do something that, you know what I mean, that's different, that's outside the box. You feel me? And I had to put myself in a position to move. Because of a lot of these camps, you know what I mean, they try to keep dormitories isolated. Reason being, you got so many different stabbings happen, you know what I mean? Dudes getting put in the door left and right. Officers get beat up. So, you know, they try to keep those that, you know what I mean, that's high maintenance, so to speak, in a predator dorm. So when I get there, you know what I mean, the captain, he already knew who I was. Cause this like I think it was like the third time I've been to Hayes. So immediately he was like, you know what? I'm not gonna put you where you think you're gonna go. Cause like I said, I don't even know if they done move things around. You know what I mean? Like they classify you as far as how many altercations you got in your file, as far as fights, weapons involved in altercations, so on and so forth. So by this time, I might have had like over 40 disciplinary reports in my file. And that ain't even including the times I've been on PI. So the captain said, you know, put him down there and E1. It was I went to E1, E2, I can't remember, I think it was E1. But anyway, when I get down there, you feel me, I see a lot of familiar faces from different places. And a lot of them are from the bottom. Some are from Macon. You know, when you doing time, you know, you gotta look at it like this. Some dudes come to prison and they do time and they might go to 1 or 2 camps, go to the halfway house, and go home. You know, me, I had a little bid to do, and I was very active and always standing on business. So I always ended up in unfortunate situations. And that's how I got the Hayes for the second time. So when I get in the dormitory, immediately I observe my surroundings. You know, you can tell a person that did time before as soon as you come in the door. Like if you come in the dormitory and you just happy-go-lucky, you smile. Like everybody that come to prison, when you come to a dorm, you gonna have a look on you. You might be scared, you might be nervous, or you might not be. But always remember, when you cross that threshold, somebody, you know, watch you. You know what I mean? They trying to see what's up with you. You got all type of people looking. And when I say all type. So I get in the dormitory, I scan the dorm. Off the rip, like I said, second time here, so you know I'm familiar with the atmosphere and the vibe. Now Hayes, this is a facility that was in the mountains, and ain't nothing but some rednecks up there, and they not doing no playing. Like they'll jump on you so quick, like you could sneeze or spit on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? They gonna get at you. And when I was down there, they had a war, and I'm gonna tell you about him following this video. His name was Lock 'em Down Brown. You know, he was a troubleshooting war. Like when he come there, anything that's out of pocket, he's gonna tighten up immediately. But he don't start with the inmates and the convicts. He gonna start with his blue suits. You know what I mean? So this particular time when I went down there, he was like in full force. Probably about like 10 of his staff members that got fired. A lot of dudes that was raising hell down there, you know, they locked down. And, you know, the camp seemed calm for the time being. So as I was saying, when I entered the dormitory, I just see a lot of familiar faces. But y'all got to understand something. I'm used to camps. When I go in the Predator dorm, they be rowdy, loud, dudes sitting, I mean, they standing up or sitting down at the table playing spades. And you know how black folks is when we play spades. We ain't just sitting back. You know, we gonna pop our shit. We gonna talk that talk. And while I'm analyzing and observing my surrounding, I don't see that. I'm like, damn, Hayes done changed. But, you know, it really wasn't that. It was just, you know, that was how the warden had it. And you know we had to have some type of power for him to put down what he put down, and the dormitories are at ease. Like, I couldn't believe it. So, you know, me, I'm a strong believer in adapting and adjusting to my environment. So when I'm analyzing the dorm, my pimping homeboy, I met him and I told a story about him. He almost, well, he had pulled out 2 burners on me. You feel what I'm saying? But it really wasn't no drama. He would just let me know what he could have done to me. And, you know, when I met him, I was real young and arrogant. I didn't care about your rep or whatever, you know, but that's the first time when I met Pimp. But now, he's a familiar face. Soon as he see me, he like, man, bro, what's up, man? What's really good in the hood, man? I'm like, man, they sent me down this punk ass camp. I don't really want to be here. He said, well, bro, you have to deal with it, man. He said, there's only 1 or 2 ways to transfer here, man. You have to get it to somebody, get active, or you gonna have to sign involuntary PC. And I'm like, man, you know, I ain't going no PC, man, no shape, form, or fashion. So I'm like, well, shit, you gonna have to route it out, man. You know what I mean? You gonna have to get into something, man. Your name gonna pop up, and you know they're gonna lock you down. Like, he was just telling me the rundown as far as how to get transferred. He said, man, look, when you come up here, the Hayes, man, it's like you can't transfer. I said, man, bro, this is like my second time here and shit. You know what I mean? He said, man, a whole lot of things have changed. So I asked him, like, yo, who the warden? He was like, I can't remember. I think it was a warden named Warden Teller. He was the head warden, and then you had Lock 'em Down Brown. No, I'm lying. Lock 'em Down Brown, he was the head warden. Warden Teller was his assistant. So he was just telling me what's what. So he was like, man, I know you probably need to get out there, get out on the phone. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, true indeed. So, you know, we go to his room and went up there, chopped it up for a minute, and he just gave me the rundown, you know, and he telling me who all was down here as far as that I know. So we told me some dudes, and like, I can't remember the builder's name for name. I think it was I know you got H, I, something like that. But I was like, oh yeah, all right, say less. So it was this one dude, man, and I really don't know the situation, but I know he did something dishonorable to a person that he had loyal tie to, and he suffered the consequences. So I don't know all this at the time, you feel me? A dude named Franco. So Franco come in there, he knew me from the bottom, but when we was at GSP together, you know, he was quiet as a mouse, you know. You got, again, you got to understand something. people be coming to different camps and they find themselves. They find their voice. But at certain camps, you know what I mean, they're a whole nother person. You know what I mean? So when he see me, like, yo, what up, Go Hard? I'm like, yo, what's up? But I looked at him. Because, you know, at the bottom, like, you won't even talk to me. You feel me? Like, you want to approach me. Like, the reason he know me is because, you know what I mean, again, I was active. But he was a person, you know, I seen him, but I didn't see him. So for him to, you know, come to me on some friendly handshake and smile type shit, it had me baffled. So I looked at him. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, man, bro, you don't remember me? And he's smiling. So, you know, right there, you know, I could see through that. You know what I mean? Being a convict, I don't accept friendly handshakes and smile. You got to be one of my guys, or you got to be somebody I got loyal ties to that, you know, I got history with. So, you know, I just extended my hand because I didn't want to be rude. You know what I mean? Shook his hand. But when I shook his hand, it wasn't a firm handshake, so I know he was suspect. So I'm like, yeah, man. So we just went to talk. Like, yo, when you get down here? So I'm like, man, I just got down here. He's like, yo, what camp you came from? That was his first mistake. He asking too many questions. Like, you don't know me like that. You know my attribute. You know we was in the bottom together, and that's it. You know what I mean? So what is we on Jeopardy for? You asking me too many questions. You know what I mean? So I think I asked like 2 questions. I told him I just got down here, and if I'm not mistaken, I just had what was that? I just came from Smith State Prison. So, but the real reason was, you know what I mean, he knew he really had no protection in there. And he knew by me coming in there, if he get cool with me, he might can get under the umbrella. Maybe, maybe not. So again, the dorm is quiet, but I'm in the room now with my man. So he pull out the phone, boom, let me use the phone. Know what I mean? I call Smith because I had left my phone. But when I called, it went directly to voicemail. Like, I already know the phone was put up because, you know, at Smith, it was a lot going on, and, you know, if you don't really have nothing going on, you ain't gonna pull out your phone until about like 9, 10 o'clock, because this time, you know what I mean, the CERT team, they was trying to sneak attack us. They were coming through the side door, so, you know, me, myself, and I type shit. And the people I rock with and dude I left my phone to, I told him, I said, look, man, don't let me call, bro, and you talk about my phone got knocked off. Because, you know, dudes play those games. You might think he one of the guys or somebody that's official tissue. You might leave on your phone, and, you know what I mean, they might do something dishonorable. Then you got to, you know, take it to the next level. So once I call, okay, phone went directly to voicemail. Then I called my mans and them in Hancock. I called a couple of my guys in Macon Central. Cause I went to Macon Central, got it popping, and they got rid of me immediately because, you know, just a little bit too much. So after I made my rounds, called everybody, and I was basically trying to find out like who y'all know down here. You know what I mean? What's shaking? And they were like, man, bro, they got you in a messed up spot. And again, a lot of people that come to Hayes, they don't make it. They get victimized. And it's easy to get victimized in prison, man. Like, trusting the person, being too friendly, thinking something sweet, thinking this is what it is, and it's not. That's why one of my favorite saying, that ain't this and this ain't that. So after I finish and make my round, you know what I mean, we just sit down, chop it up. And again, I'm just happy to be around a familiar face. Cause one thing for certain, 2 things for sure, you don't want to go to no camp and come in no dormitory, you don't know nobody. You know what I mean? Like, if you know somebody, you like 9 times 10, depending what type of caliber individual you are, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna chop it up and you go make it happen. So, you know, he basically was telling me like, look, bro, you good. And I said, yo, what's up my roommate? Cause I ain't even go in my room yet. I went to my room, I dropped my property and went directly to my man's in the room. He was like, man, he kind of cool, man. He all right. I said, okay, I'm like, yo, you saying he kind of cool. He all right. What's up with him, though? He said, man, he know how to stay out of the way. And, he said, you ain't go holler at him yet? I'm like, nah, bro. I said, I just dropped my property, came directly over here. So while my man Pimp talking, Franco, I really want to see, like, really what you want. And what it was, again, he was in here to try to befriend me, and he was trying to come in here use Chain Gang, aka Pimp phone. And Pimp had like 3 phones, but I ain't know us at the time, you know what I mean? He had the other 2 put up. So after he was, giving me the rundown, my roommate, I said, hey, look, matter of fact, I'll be right back, man. I said, let me go over here and see what's up with him. He was like, all right. He said, shit, you know what, maybe you need me? So I leave, pour his door up, I go to my room. So when I went to my room, he was, what's the dude name was? Mike. Dude named Mike. He was about like, maybe 5'6", brown skinned cat. He didn't have no job. You know what I mean? He like to stay in the room all day, every day. And that's a no-go with me. You feel me? So I introduced myself. I'm like, yo, they call me Go Hard, da-da-da-da-da. Let them know what was up with me. But not give them too much information. That's why I always say, if you know, you know. So like, yo, they call me Mike. I'm like, okay, cool, man. I'm like, yo, what you into? He like, man, I'm just trying to do my time and go home. Now, I can respect that. When a person say they trying to do their time and go home, you know what I mean? That's basically saying, they trying to stay out the way and do their time. But a person can say that and not be aware of what you may have going on, and he just in the way. So I just told him, I said, look, bro, you know what I mean? I said, I'm Chain Gang, bro. And I said, whenever you need the room, I said, just let me know. If you need to handle some business, let me know, because I don't like to be in nobody's video. And I just basically told him how I rock. And I said, yo, if you need to use the bathroom, if I'm in my sleep, wake me up. And that's another thing, not trying to get off course with the story, but you got to understand something. Prison is, man, I cannot say it enough. Prison is not it. You don't never want to be in a room with a grown man when they're using the bathroom. Like, come on, my nigga. But I just told him, these are my do's and don'ts. You feel me? Like, don't use the bathroom. If I'm asleep, wake me up. You know what I mean? I don't care what it is. I said, we locked down the room and we can't get the door open. If it's locked down and count, you have to hold it till the next morning. You feel me? Like real rap. So I can respect that. I can respect that. So I'm like, what you be doing for it? He's like, what you mean? I'm like, do you got a job? Do you hustle? Like, what you doing? He said, man, I just read books and stand in the room. I said, well, I wanted to tell you this. I said, you got to change your schedule. So, and I'm saying this, and I ain't trying to sound bold when I say this. You have to establish yourself with any and everybody you come in contact with in prison. Because if you don't, they gonna, you might be tested. So off the rip, I just let them know I'm gonna set the rules of how we gonna rock in the room. If you don't like it, you got options. And guess what one of your options is? To get on the door. That's always an option, man. If you don't like what's going on around you, you don't like your roommate, you feel what I'm saying? You can 2-step and take your ass in the door. So I said, so everything good, right? He was like, yeah. I said, so look, this is what we're gonna do. I said, I want you to step out. You know what I mean? Because I'm about to get my property and put my stuff up. And I was just testing the water, you know what I mean? Because he could be a rebellious person, like, man, look, you ain't gonna come in here saying this, saying that, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna just adhere to what you say, like, you know what I mean? But I was, ready for whatever his response is, I'm ready for it. I'm with the shit, you know what I mean? We can fight in the room, we can do whatever, but I'm gonna let you know how we rocking. So like, I got you. So he got up. So this the thing, he had a bottom bunk, but you know, when you big dog status, you know, you don't even accept, you feel what I'm saying, going to no top bunk. So I told him off the rip, I said, look, yo, go ahead and grab your bunk and put it in the top. So, you know, that right there alone let him know, you know what I mean, I'm with whatever. So he humbly got his mat and threw it on the top. So once he did that, you know what I mean, he left. So I get my property. I go to putting all my property in my in a locker box. You feel me? So he was like, you got a lock? I said, what? A lock? I said, man, I don't need no lock. He said, man, you ain't gonna lock your box. I said, lock my box? I said, man, that's for sucker ducks, bro. I said, one thing about me, man, I said, I ain't locking my box, and while I'm in here, you ain't gonna lock yours. Because I already know, like, I'm not saying a person won't try me, but, you know, if you try me, you know, you got to take everything that come with it. And it ain't going to be no light bread type shit, you heard? So once he asked me the question about the lock, he bounced. So I'm putting my shit in my box, you feel me? He like, I'm just talking to myself like, man, did he just ask me about a lock? Like, you can tell he's suspect. And one thing about me, man, I don't like no Tom Jerry, scary ass individual, you feel me? So I'm putting my stuff in the box, boom, 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 boom. So while I'm putting on my stuff in the box, a dude knocked on my door. So I'm like, that might this guy. But I know it's people in here that I know. It just everybody ducked off. So a slim dude, man, dude named B Money, you know what I mean? He come to he's the one knocking on my door. So I'm like, yo, what up, B? So now let me describe how B looked. B was about 6'1", and you know, he was real slim. B might have been about like maybe 150. He straight up, you know what I mean? Like Slim Jim type shit. You know what I mean? He ain't got no weight, but he had an edge. Now his edge was, he was a major playmaker. But this the thing, he was also a civilian. And he knew by him being a civilian, he had to have allies that was affiliated. You know what I mean? So we talking. He like, man, what's up? What the fuck you get down here? So I'm like, man, I just got in today, man. So like, okay. Now, we ain't seen each other in some years. I'm gonna say maybe like 3 years. And one thing y'all have to understand, you know, people change in time. Either you're gonna get better, you're gonna get worse, or you're gonna be stagnated and you're gonna stay the same. You know what I mean? So he don't know, since the last time he seen me, how I done changed. I could have went through something and I'm not the same person. But when he met me, I think I met him at archery. No, matter of fact, our first prison we met was Smith. And then I met him at archery. So we just, you know, talking, right? So I asked him, I'm like, man, what's shaking at Hayes, man? He was like, man, he said, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. He said, man, you know how to do time, man. You chain gang. He said, keep dudes out your business, man. I'm like, man, you know I'm gonna do that anyway. He said, man, it's a different type of pedigree of people down here, man. It's not the same that we used to and that you used to. I'm like, okay, no doubt. So he was like, you good? So at the time, I might have had like $8 in food, but I had a lot of cosmetic because I always try to keep my hygiene, you know what I mean, right and exact. I'm like, I got it. I'm all right. So, you know, my box is like, he could just look directly at my box because I had my door all the way open. He said, man, bro, you must have fell off or something. I'm like, I ain't fell off. I just got isolation or whatever. He said, man, I'll be right back. So he go to his room, you know what I mean, and he go give me about like $25, $30 of food. You know, that's what real people do, man. You know, real recognize real and real look out for the real. So I'm like, yo, appreciate that, man. He said, you got out there yet? I'm like, yeah, but I need to make some more calls. So he was like, look, and this lets you know right here what type of person he was. When a scary individual, you're not gonna let a person hold your phone. You know what I mean? Because again, you put a phone in a person's hand and you ain't about that life, they gonna take your phone. You know, they could be acting all friendly just to get your phone. When they get it, when you come ask for it back, you know what I mean, you ain't gonna get it. So, you know, he went in this stash spot we had his phone at, you know what I mean, and gave it to me. So I'm like, yo, and he left. He, like, some dudes, you could tell they scary because they'll give you their phone and they'll just sit on the sink or, you know, just post up on the wall. And, you know, hopefully you'll hurry up and make your calls or whatever. But, you know, my man B, he was far from a scared cat. So we gave him the phone. He like, man, I'll be down at the skin table. I'm like, all right, say less. So I got the phone, you know what I mean? Called back to Smith, because again, when I left Smith, I had motion. And the person I left in charge of my phone device, I know he's capable of, you know, continuing what I had going on down there. So when I called, phone went directly to voicemail, made some more calls, and, you know, they was like, man, bro, everybody said the same thing, like, hey, bro, Hayes ain't it. But again, it ain't. A lot of people think it's the camp. It's never the camp, man. It's the people that come there that make the camp. You feel me? Any and everywhere I go, you know, I'm going to turn the camp out. I'm going to go hard with no excuses. If you know, you know. It could be on the ground. It only take me, but, you know what I mean, a couple of days to get it popping. So everybody was like, man, you know how to rock, bro. You know the chain gang. So they was like, who the Warren down there? Well, some people that I was talking on the phone, they would ask who the Warren, and some mom that I talked to, they knew who the Warren, and they kept saying, hey, look, bro, you need to walk light and be easy down there. Lock them down, Brown. Do not play. I'm like, yeah, I already heard about him. You feel me? So after I finished making my calls, I hung the phone up. Out of the $30 he gave me, I got me a little, like, about $15 out the bag. And I'm going to try my luck. I'm going down to the skin table. You feel me? So I go down to the skin table, and it's going down, man. It's probably about like, let me see. It's probably about like 9 people at the table. And I think they just ran the store there before that, because everybody got a fat, healthy sack. You know what I mean? And I could just look by how they betting. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's some money here. And there was some money here, you feel me? So I just observed the skin table. And my slick ass homeboy from Savannah, and I spoke about him previous in one of my previous videos, he's from Savannah. Like, he's slick in the grease. But everybody kind of knew his card. Well, I said knew his card, knew it was slick. And when he gambled, you know, everybody said, bro, you cannot touch those cards. Because like I always say, the hand quicker than the eye. And his hands was most definitely quick. So he seen me. He was like, yo, what's up, Go Hard? And smiled at me. I'm like, shit, what up? He said, everything good, cousin, man, you good? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, shit, I know you want to smoke. So I'm like, yeah, I need to get my lung in the palm right quick, man. So, you know, and this was real rare, you know what I mean? Homie went in his pocket right there and sparked up a blunt in the day room. I'm like, bro, what the But, you know, again, you have to learn how to adapt and adjust to your surrounding. You know what I mean? If he, like I said, he been here longer than me, so if you willing to just pull out the blunt and spark it up, it's all good, you know what I mean? So we smoke at the skin table. And this one thing you never do. That's in prison or on the script. If you smoking with a person, you don't pass the blunt to a person that wasn't invited. I done seen a dude get his jaw broke doing that. You know what I mean? Like, if I spark up a blunt and I pass it to you, and you got your 3 homeboys with you, do not pass them the blunt. You know what I mean? Pass it back. You feel me? So, you know, I already know the rule of chain gang. So while I'm hitting it, when I finish, I pass it to him. So immediately dudes looked at me. These the dudes that didn't know me. You feel me? Excuse me. So I passed it back to Dino. So we skinning, I'm smoking. Officer in the booth, he looking dead at us. And Gabriel he got an intercom, put that damn blunt out. Put that blunt out before I come in there. So Dino like, man, F you, man. You know what I mean? We ain't, you know what I mean? And then it was like a chill day. So we skinning, smoking. And I think they called second session. When they called second session, you know what I mean? I said, I need to hit the walk right quick. So I run upstairs in my room, throw some chain gang cologne on, some lotion mixed with some Muslim oil, just, you know what I mean, type shit. Got to the door, and the police were like, "When you just smoke with the skin tape?" I'm like, "Man, nah, that wasn't me smoking." He like, "Man, look, you just got here, man. You need to be easy." I'm like, "Man, all right." Like like I said, he didn't know me, so he thought I was like a regular inmate. So he said, "Where you trying to go to?" I said, "What's available?" He said, "Well, you know, they got big yard, you know what I mean? You probably can go to the gym." I said, "Something out of big yard." So I go to big yard or whatever. And when I get out there, it's John blazing. It's hot. I really don't want to be out here. But when you come to camps, you got to know what's popping. You know what I mean? Because at this time, I might have had like, I know got over like 13 enemies. Like people that want my head, or I done down bad them at another camp, and they want their lick back. And it just, you know, that's the smart thing to do. Because once again, word travel fast. When certain individuals come to certain camps, people gonna know. So ain't no use to me just trying to, you know what I mean, stay ducked in the cut. Let me go ahead and make my presence felt, and if it's a problem, you know what I mean, we're gonna deal with it now or however the case may be. And that's one thing about drama, man, and beef. If you got a problem with a person, you know what I mean, go ahead and bring it to them live and direct. You know what I mean? Don't give a person no time to set up, you know what I mean? Like they say, the element of surprise. So like I said, I go out there and I see a lot of, again, familiar faces. So I'm hollering at who I holler at. And I see it's some white dudes. It's about like 18 white dudes in there in a group. So I asked a dude that I was talking to, I'm like, "Yo, what's popping with them, man?" He said, "Oh man," he said, "that ain't gonna last long." They was Aryan Nation. They was like, keeping it real, prison is segregated, like, and you know, it's most definitely racist stuff that go down. But this is the thing. One of the Aryan Nation dudes, I think cousin or nephew, was on the CERT team, and he had the keys to the city. Like, he was a major playmaker down there. But he knew he couldn't survive, you know, just being related to somebody's CERT team. Like, y'all have to realize, it don't matter. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. And that's real rap. It ain't, I'm gonna say it again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So, you know, okay, I want to see what's going on with them. So I said, let's make a lap. So we took a lap, and they was down there working out. So when we walked by, you know, I looked at them, because you, like I said, you got to make your presence be felt, man. Let a person know, like, you know what I mean, you ain't ducking or I can be a problem. And that's the look I was giving them. I was giving them look like, you know what I mean, I could be a problem if a problem come my direction. Because one thing about it, you know, and keep it real, I don't know too many individuals that was Aryan Nation raising hell. I'm not saying they was no cowards, but you know, they kind of, you know, move strategic. You know what I mean? Like every organization is supposed to move. So when I looked at them, I caught eyes with the dude that was a playmaker, and you could tell he was like a voice in a circle just by him talking, and was like he was giving out orders, and you know, it was just, you could look at him like his aura, you know, he was the man over there. So me and him, You know, we locked eyes, you feel me? And, you know, once we did that, I kept walking, I kept it moving, you feel me? Went back over there to who I was kicking it with, talked to him for a minute because, again, I'm just out here, you know, let my face get on the scene, seeing what's what, and, you know, just, you know, put it out there, putting that energy out there. So, boom, I get back to the dorm. So when I get back to the dorm, they down there at the skin table. They down in the uproar. They done caught a dude cheating. Oh, man. So they like, hey, all that money, you better bring it back. Oh, we gonna F you up. This to the third blight, this blight that. He's like, oh, y'all gonna have to bring it to me, you know what I mean? So I ain't going out like no sucker duck. I ain't going out bad. And, you know, dude wasn't no coward. You feel me? But, you know, you only one person. And you've been cheating, like, you done beat these dudes out of a lot of stuff. Like, I found all this out later, man. He done tricked these dudes out maybe like $400-500. He been winning for the last 3 days. And then you gotta understand something. If you gambling and you know you cheating while you gambling, you know what I mean? You gotta know when to quit. You can't keep doing it. But he was a dude, he was very unfortunate, and when he got a Toho, he just mashed the gas and didn't want to let up. But, you know, it finally caught up with him. It's just, you know, now what you gonna do? So he left the room. I mean, he left the skin table, went to his room, and I just sensed it. I said, oh yeah, it's about to go down. And if you paying attention, you'll know. Like, dude's mad, and he's talking shit as he winning their money. So dudes, they go into their cell, they getting suited and booted. And like, I seen one dude, like, it's like mid-summertime. He come out there with a jacket on, and his right arm is stiff. He got that tomahawk on him. And you see other dudes, man, they coming out. So I'm saying to myself, I'm like, man, I know this ain't about to pop off on the first day. But, you know, when it's war and it's on, you know what I mean? It's one or two things to do. Get involved or get out the way. And being as I ain't got nothing to do with it, I'm going to get out the way. So my man B, he already seen, he was like, hey, bro. He said, oh, boy, ain't going to go out bad, man. So the best thing for me and you to do, he said, come on to my cell. So I'm like, shit, all right, say less. So we go to a cell, and he was just showing me some old pictures of his family or whatever. And you just heard it start going down. Pow, boom, ah, boom, pow, boom. And then you start hearing sneakers, you know what I mean, basically on the floor. So until next time, until next story. The only reason I got to end this video, because I got a lot going on today, you know what I mean. I just heard a vacuum cut on, and I don't want y'all to, you know what I mean, try to put me in the door talking about y'all can't hear the video and all that other good stuff, man. But I appreciate y'all tuning in to my channel, watching my videos, all the love and support, all the comments, the constructive criticism. And y'all already know what the lick read, man. Y'all don't forget, man, hit them like buttons, man, because one thing for certain, two things for sure, it helped me out a whole lot. I'm trying to get out there, you feel me? I've been in the game now and politic with the YouTube for, I say, like 7 months. I'm paying my dues, man, so y'all do y'all boy a favor, man. Y'all hit them like buttons, man. Leave me a comment. It helped the algorithm, and it helped me out. So until part 2, y'all know what to do. I'm going to let y'all know what took place once it popped off, you know what I mean, and how it popped off and who it popped off on. Salute.